Jeremiah Shamus put up a tweet yesterday or the day before that development and land sales, which I mean, I know perfectly well, especially for high density sites, are at a 10-year low. So there's like glut after glut coming down the pipe. You mix this with cuts, like how do prices not just run away again? And counterbalance that that the effect of the cuts with the shelter costs.
Okay, so what is the most plentiful inventory in those two provinces, in British Columbia and Ontario?
Condos, tiny condos.
Sure. So who is the purchaser of a dog crate condo?
Investors.
Are, is an investor encouraged? Like, if we look at the cycle of investors buying condos, we understand that condos don't complete for between 5 and 6 years. So if we understand the psychology of it, investors were buying these tiny condos at consistently increasing square footage costs, like bizarre levels of increase. But because historically over the previous 12 or 13 years, there had been effectively a zero interest rate environment, that no matter how ridiculously more expensive each new phase was, it mainly got sold by assignment for 12 years. Okay, so there was no issues there. I mean, you could just make 80 grand and not keep it. Like, stuff was so simple, it was ridiculous, which has completely ended. It's like the sale of like tulips in Holland in the 1600s. Okay,
but has everybody learned their lesson, you think?
Hell yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope so.
People who throw money at investment condos, they do a little bit of research first. Okay.
Little bit.
They do a little bit of study. They do a tiny bit of investigation. Twitter. And they find out that, you know what? No, it's not going to work at all. It's not even going to be worth what you paid for it. For next year, right now we're in an environment where there's being blanket appraisals done of buildings at purchase price. In other words, the bank who is behind the financing of the building itself, who's got the construction financing, the development financing, is arranging for a blanket appraisal at the purchase price. Wow. So they can close on the condo. Okay. If they didn't, like and eventually it'll run out of steam because it'll just get too ridiculous. But right now you're getting the bank who's behind the construction. It becomes known that, well, if you go get a mortgage from that bank, they're going to appraise this condo at the purchase price. And if you get it from another bank, they're going to appraise it at 15% less than the purchase price. So you better use that bank that's given the blanket appraisal, which they do, So, but that can only go on so long. And I always remember the 2025 vintage of completed condos are at an even higher price per square foot than the difficulties we're having with the 2024 vintage. And don't even talk about 2026. Holy shit. That's just
wait till that day comes. Yeah.
So, and those problems aren't going away, period. They aren't. And no investor is going to buy a dog crate condo today. I mean, in Toronto, they just they opened and shut 60 sales offices in the last year.
Yeah.
Just opened them. Nothing happened. Close them. We're done.
How do we get that back on track? How do we get more places built, which we know only investors are going to be the ones who are going to buy them, because we need people who are stupid enough to be able to put their money up in order to get these things financed. How do we get out of this? What's the solution for us to get back to building condos and houses?
Well, hold on a sec. Before you answer that, let me just throw this into the mix, because I think you touched on it, and I think it's really important. And I have a note actually to discuss it today, which is great. So there's a fundamental flaw in the system, the financing system of these condos, right? Like people that need to move into them, the timing is so far off. The timing to build them is so far off. But the way it's designed is we need the developers have to get to 65, 70% pre-solds from people that definitely can't wait that long to move in. Maybe if the timing is even right? Like they promise you 5, you move in 6.5. Like there's this fundamental issue, and there's so much new stuff coming down the pipe on top of that for this old system, this old way of micro condos to investors. Like just for example, there's 30,000 units in planning in the Golden Mile right now. And I guarantee you, these are like 350, 450 square foot, you call them dog crates, right? And these are going to have to be part of that system that is currently in place that needs 65, 70% purchases, sales in order to move forward. And you're stacking that on top of 60 in the last year that just said, you know what, like maybe we should wait a little bit. And then couple it on top of the fact that all the sales are down and anybody that already has land because of all these new planning things is going back in for redevelopment. Like, TK, I just want to throw that into TK's question because it's like, how are we going to get the hell out of this mess when there's so much already in this fucked up system?
Well, it's disruptive. I mean, some of those developers are going to go bankrupt. Smaller ones, the newer ones are going to go bankrupt. And then the land will resell at a lower price eventually. And some of it will be converted to purpose-built rentals. They won't be condos. They will be purpose-built rentals because that program through CMHC is aggressive, well-priced, and works, frankly works. I mean, there's a number of condominium projects in Toronto, all through GTA, have been converted to purpose-built rental already. So that's already happened. But yeah, the one way to adjust for incorrect land pricing is to go broke and to the land to be repurchased at a lower price. And whoever bought it lost all their equity, and maybe the lender got touched up too.
Even some of the deals, though, Darryl and I have looked at, there's even deals like in certain areas where even if the land was free, it still doesn't pencil just because of all the taxes, construction cost, financing cost, all that kind of stuff. Like, what other solutions are there just other than the land price coming down?
Well, the conversion to purpose-built rentals changes a lot of things. It changes the taxation of the building. It changes the development fees in the building. It changes an awful lot. So it's possible that stuff that you look at that absolutely wouldn't pencil if the land was free would pencil based on the implicit changes that happen if you build a purpose-built rental.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you got anything from one of these clips. And if you want to see some more, press something on the screen here. Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.